Welcome into the Commanders Report. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today it is the live mailbag here on the Commanders Report, where you guys ask your questions, and I get to answer your questions right here on the show. It's my favorite segment to do every week, because you guys get to tell me directly what Commanders topics you want me to cover each and every week. I can't wait to get into it right now. Before we get into the content today, go ahead and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. We have the largest interactive Commanders fan community here on YouTube. We have a weekly live show at 5 p.m. Eastern Time where we film these mailbags. If you want to get your question on a future edition, go ahead and click that subscribe button and join us on Wednesdays. And we also have live watch parties every single Commanders game as well. So if you guys want to join this awesome community of Commanders fans, make sure you click that subscribe button right now. Okay, let's get to our first question here, which comes from JG. Says, are you buying the excuses given the drop-off and JD5's accuracy? So the thing about Jayden is that he does throw the ball off his back foot, and he drifts in the pocket a bit too much. All right, do I think that the rib injury might have affected him a little bit? Maybe. Okay, we'll see throughout the rest of the season. But honestly, he's had some accuracy issues all season. It's just gotten a little bit worse since the injury. So we'll see here. I feel like the teams that can put pressure on Jayden more consistently, like the Steelers and Eagles did, tend to bring this lack of accuracy out of Jayden out a little bit more. We're going to find out over the next several weeks whether this accuracy issue that we've seen these last 2 weeks is a legitimate problem for JD. But it's definitely a good question here, JG, and I can't wait to find out the answer here on the Commanders Report this year. Got one from John. What's up, John? Says, Commanders... or hashtag Commanders, are the Commanders willing to go to war for Dan Quinn the way the Lions are for Dan Campbell to finish the job? Blown second half advantages are a concern over strength and conditioning. So here's what I'd say, John. I think that this team has fully bought into the culture. All right, you listen to anybody in that locker room, they love Dan Quinn. They'll run through a brick wall for this guy. And Dan Quinn is one of these guys that is one of the most respected people in the National Football League. He was able to build such a great staff around him because so many people want to work with him. The energy and the positivity he brings to the building every single day, it's very similar to what Campbell has brought to the Detroit Lions. So listen, man, when Dan Campbell first started there in Detroit, it took a couple years to get things going, a couple of unsuccessful seasons before they were able to build something pretty special there in Detroit now. And honestly, Dan Quinn has expedited that process here where they look like they're something special really early on in his tenure. So yes, I think that this team absolutely has bought into this culture and to this head coach. And I do think that this is a team that's going to go to war for him and all that stuff towards the end of the year. Then we got one from Culver's Lover. Wow. It says, how good will the Commanders defense be when Marshon Lattimore plays? So this is a good question because we just don't know, right? Marshon Lattimore is a great man-to-man corner. He's a true number one. That's something that the Commanders team has been lacking all season, and I do think the Commanders do get better. The question is, how much better do they get with Marshon Lattimore in there? With the offense, if they can get back to playing top 3 level football, Culver's Lover, the defense doesn't have to get that much better for this to become a truly elite team come playoff time, right? They can just have an above average defense, and I do think they can get there with Marshon Lattimore as their CB1. So fill in the blank for me today. The Commanders have a top blank defense with Marshon Lattimore at CB1. Do they have a top 15, top 10? Do you think they're still overrated whenever he comes in? This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Going from James Faison here, says, how do we contain CeeDee Lamb this week? So the way that you do it, if you have Marshon Lattimore in there, that helps a lot, all right? Because you don't have to have Benjamin St-Juste or Mike Samer still on him, even though I thought they did a pretty good job on A.J. Brown last Thursday. But Marshon Lattimore is obviously the best guy on the team, so it'd be nice to have him. But whether you have Marshon or not, I think that you double him consistently, all right? Whether that's a stubby from the slot or whether that's just a true double on the outside with safety help over the top. He's just the one guy that can consistently beat you over the top there, and I just don't really see him or don't really see anybody else on that Cowboys offense beating you in the way that CeeDee Lamb can. So most defenses have been doubling CeeDee all season long. It's worked quite well. I expect the Commanders to have a similar game plan on Sunday. Got one from Eugene here. Says, what do the Commanders need to address in the offseason? Quite a bit, in my opinion, Eugene. They still need to address offensive line. Andrew Wiley's going to be a free agent. Nick Allegretti, the left guard spot might be addressed as well. I think they're going to add another receiver as well. I think what they have for the rest of the season is good enough, but I think they're going to want to add another piece with Terry McLaurin getting a little bit older. Then on defense, I think that you probably want to get some more depth along the defensive line. I think that you want to get some more help in the secondary alongside Marshon Lattimore and Mike Sainristil. There's definitely things that you can address if you are the Washington Commanders, but those would probably be the primary ones, at least in my opinion. Okay, before we get into the rest of the questions here on the Commanders Report mailbag, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks, which is the best place to get real money sports action all on your phone this football season. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Also, Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus, guys. It's guaranteed when you play that first $5 lineup. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, where every Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. For Thursday Night Football, my lineup this week, I got Russell Wilson on the more for passing yards, the more on receiving yards for George Pickens, and the more on interceptions for Jameis Winston going up against that ravenous Steelers defense. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly when you use code CLNS after playing your first $5 lineup on the Prize Picks app today. Prize Picks, run your game. Tajer coming in here says, how concerned are you about Jayden Daniels at this juncture? If I had to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say I'm at about a 4. Last 2 games, difficult defenses to go up against, man. Great pass rushes, Steelers, Eagles, very good teams. And obviously the lack of playing time because of his rib injury has affected his preparation. So now that he's back to fully healthy, he had a full week of practice. He's going to have a full week of practice this week. I feel good about his chances of going out there against the Commanders, or not against the Cowboys, I should say, and really having a good week and having a bounce-back week, reasserting himself at the top of the heap in the offensive rookie of the year standings here at this juncture. So I'm not too concerned, but obviously, when you see the accuracy issues, you see him locking on to his first target too often, when you see him throwing off his back foot and underthrowing guys too often. Those aren't necessarily injury things, so those are certainly things he needs to clean up here as we approach the end of the 2024 season. So let me know down there in the comments section, what's your concern level for Jayden Daniels at this point in the year? Put it on a scale of 1 to 10 for me down there in the comments section. Like I said, I'm at about a 4, maybe a 3. Let me know what you guys are thinking down there in the comments section. Going from Anthony J505 says, what college cornerbacks are catching your eye in next year's draft? So there's quite a few of them. If you're talking about guys in the first round here, Will Johnson from Michigan is obviously phenomenal. Travis Hunter is also a very, very good cornerback. I'm a big fan of Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame. Great man corner, would be a great fit here in Washington. On the other side of Marshon Lattimore, it would allow you to put Mike Sainristil in the slot where he's more comfortable. I'm also a big fan of Siobhan Revel out of East Carolina, the Pirates there. Very big, long corner that could fit into this defense quite well. Those are guys that I've got my eye on. But honestly, this is a good cornerback class in my opinion. Good up front with the edge rushers. Really good on the offensive tackles as well. And then cornerback and running back are 2 other positions that I really like in this draft class as well. So those are some names that I would throw out there. Well, make sure you guys like the video if you haven't already. If you want to win in Week 12 versus the Cowgirls, that team is in a downward spiral right now. And it looks like the Commanders might have a chance to sweep the Cowboys this year. So if you want to secure the sweep and you want to start that off with a win in Week 12, click that thumbs up icon right now. Going from my man Eric says, "Are you worried about Zaccheaus dropping balls?" I'm worried about everybody dropping balls, man. I'm worried about Noah Brown dropping balls. I'm worried about Zach Ertz dropping balls. I'm worried about De'Ami Brown dropping balls. But I think with Zaccheaus specifically, you're talking about special teams. The answer to that question is yes. Whenever you take 2 balls off the face, pause. Taking 2 balls off the face in a row in a Steelers game there, that's not good, right? Now, he did a better job against the Eagles. Didn't have 1 muff punt. But it's definitely something to keep your eye on. So right now, I'm a little bit concerned if he has another bad game like that. I think he's done. So the pressure's on with Olamide Zaccheaus in terms of the punt return game right now. Got Beat the Skeet with a nice profile picture there. Says, what do you say about the fraudulent claims that we haven't beaten a good team yet? So obviously they have beaten a good team, and that was the Arizona Cardinals. They beat the Arizona Cardinals on the road, and they spanked them. All right, so they have beaten a good team. Now, I do think there are some people, when you look at the record, the collective record of all the teams the Commanders have beaten, it's like a 33% win rate. So it isn't very good. It's one of the lowest in the league among the teams that, the team has beaten. You lose to teams like the Steelers, you lose teams like the Eagles, and, you're beating teams like Carolina and New York twice and all the bad teams that the Commanders have played. People are going to call you frauds, right? But that doesn't mean they haven't played any good teams. They killed the Arizona Cardinals. And, I think that this team is really going to make a statement against Philly when they play in about a month again, all right? At home, I think that, because you're not coming off that short week, because you aren't coming off a tough game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I actually think the Commanders have a great shot at splitting with the Eagles this year. And if they can beat the Eagles at home, down the home stretch, I think people will begin to believe in this Commanders team again. Then we got one from 674 Gators. Says, what are the chances that the Commanders win a playoff game this year? It's a rookie quarterback who does have some issues in his game. He's still getting better, right? He's a great talent, but he is still dealing with some issues, okay? Throwing off his back foot too often, locking onto his first read too often, all that stuff. Those are things that are fixable, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes the rest of the year. Plus, you got a head coach in his first year with the team. That doesn't bode well in terms of teams making the playoffs with a first-year head coach. So I'd put their chances of winning a playoff game this year at around 35 to 45%. I'd probably go around 45% at this point. I think that this is a good team, and I think it gets even better when you add Marshon Lattimore into the mix. Now, I think that Jayden needs to get better towards the home stretch here in order for you to have a shot in the playoff game. And he's got to play well in that playoff game to be able to win it. But it's definitely not impossible, and I'm going to put it close to 50-50 odds, but I'll give it a little bit less than that. I'll put it at about a 45% shot. So predict it for me down there in the comments section. Will the Commanders win a playoff game this year? Give me a yes or a no down there in the comments section. I could see arguments for either yes or no here, so let me know what you're thinking down there in the comments. Thank you to everybody that submitted questions this week. I really do appreciate all of your guys' support. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, go raise some hail.